All right, I'm gonna go back to the DJI RC2 Pro, the new remote controller that comes with the creator combo with the Mavic 4 Pro, the newest flagship drone from DJI. And I'm just gonna talk about things that I'm observing online, some of the reviews from some of these creators and YouTuber reviewers, and noticing a pattern in the new remote controller based on user behavior, user experience, user interface, and I'm slowly seeing a pattern in the way this DJI remote was designed. And the first thing I'm noticing from a lot of these people, and I've been watching some of these review videos, and it looks like it's happening across the board, and it's the overall design of the controller. Is very button touchy. And what do I mean by this? It means that when you grab this remote, you're touching buttons everywhere. The thing is beeping everywhere. So you're grabbing the remote and it's beeping because you're hitting buttons all over the place. This thing has a call to action button for the remote placed in areas where you're grabbing the remote. Basically, what's happening is there's no rest area in the remote. Basically, you're grabbing the remote and you're most likely gonna hit a button, the shutter button, the roller, the home button, the joystick. Something's gonna click. Something's gonna beep all the time because there's no general grab rest area or grip that doesn't have any tactical call to action button. So that's the first thing I'm noticing. And it's very, very funny because every single video that I'm watching that shows the review with the controller, you hear a tremendous amount of beeping because the person that's grabbing the pilot that's grabbing the remote cannot find a rest area to grab or move the remote around. So it's always like they talk about the remote, it's beep 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 beep. So that's the first thing. The other the second thing I'm noticing is, where is the power on button? The power on button, where is it? The on and off button, where is it? Every remote DJI made, the button was very obvious, in your face, straightforward, big, fat, chunky. Either, I don't know if it was red or white, the icon, and it was front and center. You knew where it was. You weren't thinking about it. It was obvious. Now, where is it? So the whole thing was that you flip up the screen, turns on. You fold up the screen, it turns on. You fold down the screen, it turns off, right? Or it goes into some standby mode, which then drains the battery because you can't find the on and off button. Where is the physical on it which turns off the remote control? Well, I found a few videos where people actually think that the remote controller does not have a on and off button, and the actual on and off is the folding of the screen of the remote, right? But there's actually a button that's placed all the way in here in this photo here. I'm going to enlarge it for a second so we could see it. I circled it in yellow. On the screen, on the top left, there's a little tiny on and on button or on off button. And they placed it on the screen, not on the remote. So basically, sometimes, most of the time, the on and off button is somewhere in this area down here. This is the main area for the remote. So, you know, it could be one of these two buttons here, or it could have been this where this wheel was. I mean, they could have added the on and off button somewhere here, like here maybe, you know, or even here. But no, the button is actually on top here, top left on the screen, which is right over here, as you can see it. There's the button. Really tiny. Can't really see it. I mean, it almost blends in with the color of the plastic of the screen, and little tiny icon. You would probably miss it if you've never had a Mavic before. You would never think that there's a button there, or maybe you wouldn't even know there was an on and off button. So huge flaw in the design. I think the power button should be dominant in the controller. Should be front and center. I don't see it as a. It's more of like a safety thing for me. I think it's more of like I need to know where this button is immediately, just in case. Not hidden, and to be honest, I don't think, like, for me it's not comfortable the flipping, the turning the remote on by just folding the screen up and then folding the screen down to turn it off. I'm not really comfortable with that. I think the on and off button that we have, that they redesigned and put it up on the screen here, seems to be, and let me know in the comments below if you have it, because I don't have it and I really don't know what the functionality is. If you turn this button on, does it power on first the screen and then it fires up the remote? Or does it turn on the remote first and then the screen? Or does it turn on the screen and the remote both at the same time? That is a question I'm still trying to figure out. So if you guys have it, or you know, let me know in the comments below. And the third thing, like I said, the folding of the screen up, down to turn off. Turn on and off. I'm not a big fan of that. Like I said, it's I want the, because sometimes perhaps I want the screen to be down. Like, I feel like I want the screen to be down flat and have it on. I don't want it to fold down and turn off. I want it to fold down and still be on, because perhaps I just want to use it as a screen to view my my playbacks. I also perhaps want to, like I said, I don't know what happens when you are in flight and then the screen, you accidentally just bump the screen and fold it down. I know the controllers also flip down as the screen folds down, so it flattens out. What happens to the drone? Does the drone go down and backwards because the controllers are actually folding down both at the same time, or folding downwards? So that would mean that the left controller would be throttling downwards, and the right joystick would be going backwards. So what happens when that happens? Does the drone fly down and back? Does the drone idle? Does the drone have the mechanism of where it gets sent back to home as a safety? Or what happens to the drone in flight during a bump on the fold down on the screen? Or if I want to just have the drone up in the air, flying and doing some kind of photography or video, and I just want to fold down the screen in mid-flight, what happens then? So another question. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments below. But like I said, the biggest thing is the overall design of the RC2 Pro. I think, like I said, in these other videos that I was doing, I showed the weakness in the back of the turning of the screen. When you go from vertical to horizontal, there's a hinge in the back with three screws that looks like a weak point every time you turn the screen up, down, up, down, up, down, like left, right. You know, you're rotating it to get the landscape to vertical. Not a big fan of that. I think it creates a weak point and then eventually breaks, how I showed in one of the videos in the RC2 Pro. And now I'm not feeling this fold down, fold up, turn on, turn off. There's a button that's hidden, and a lot of people have no idea there's actually a turn on, turn off button, physical button that actually turns the controller off and on. And I'm not feeling the touchiness. Like, you can't find a specific soft rest area for your hands to grab the remote. You're always fiddling, touching, bumping, and the controller just keeps going off, beeping, because you're just hitting the stuff. So overall, it's, like I said, it looks like a design that was put together really fast. They were trying to do new things, but some things are interesting and new and cool, but at the same time, I think the next version should be fixed and it'll be a lot better. I think this version is experimental. It's not fully finished. So let's see what happens. If you guys have any questions or have any new stuff regarding the RC2 Pro, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, let me know if you have it and how you think this RC2 Pro works with you.